Welcome, I'll be reacting to Outlander Season 4, Episode 8. This is not a market substitute. Please support the original. It is handy that he has a drawing because a photograph would be very distracting in this time period.
Yes, we'll need 12 more composing sticks come Thursday.
Sarah, have you seen this lady?
Fergus.
I'm sorry I haven't.
So close.
I'm so glad you could come for a visit.
Oh, they're here.
Is Ian not with you?
And I ken I'd have a knife through my gut before seeing him hurt or in sorrow.
That's the hardest thing about being a parent.
It's interesting seeing the other side of this. What I don't understand is why he didn't simply go to Fraser's Ridge, because he knows where it is from the book. I would have just headed straight there.
Do you know where I might be able to buy passage to Cross Creek? I'd like to leave tomorrow.
Sally Ann's in
Breathe.
port. It makes the journey every week or so. You can ask Captain Freeman.
Thank God I found you.
Let's go.
He's like, can we do this without an audience?
You read my letter.
Of course. And that's all I got, a letter. You could have called me.
Elizabeth is going to think completely wrong things. Did they check to see if anyone is in here?
You have all of me.
What?
You'll marry me.
How could I say no to a man who pursued me for 200 years?
It's the gemstone you used to come through the stones.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what hand fasting is?
Yes.
It's sort of a temporary marriage.
In an attempt to appease the insurgents, I carried rum to the river where they were encamped, meaning to persuade them against their lawlessness.
A noble deed.
As I turned to leave, my boots stayed in the mud, and I must have wounded myself. My physician assures me it will go away in time.
Not if it is what I think it might be. Her husband seems to have captured the attention of the crowd as well.
That's Colonel Washington.
I'm sorry, who?
Colonel George Washington. He's a former soldier with the Virginia Regiment.
Don't fangirl, Claire.
I spent my youth in Virginia.
Chopping down cherry trees. Is what a young boy would do. Figure of speech.
Ladies and gentlemen.
If Brianna were here, she'd have 100 questions to ask him.
He goes to leave and Claire is like, can I have you sign something?
With my goods, I thee endow. With my body, I thee worship.
With my goods, I thee endow. Not that there's much of that. With my body, I thee worship.
I,
I now pronounce us
man and
and
wife.
wife.
I have a spy in their camp. They mean to rob a carriage carrying tax monies to the treasury at New Bern. They're here, gentlemen, encamped upon the road to New Bern.
This is a conundrum for Jamie.
Patience, lads.
Was it all right? Did I do it right?
God.
It was all right then.
Christ, yes.
That will be me my first time. I'll be like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Before me, what's the difference? Oh, God!
Christ, forgive me.
No! This man needs a surgeon!
Colonel, please help him.
This man is dying. Is there a surgeon present?
Here.
Well, my wife is a surgeon yet.
There have been a few plays that I've attended where I hoped this would happen. Tedious.
His intestines have moved, and the blood flow may be cut off. I need to operate immediately. You, go behind the stage and find me a needle and thread.
He looks so pale.
He's at death's door.
Where is the needle and thread?
A very different sort of performance.
I'll borrow a horse onwards from here. Thank you for aiding a fellow soldier. Is there a war I'm not aware of? Aye. Aye, there is, sir.
Ugh. Oh great, here's a surgeon.
What hath hell wrought? You've butchered him, madam.
The lady has it in hand.
Oh.
Believe you may have saved his life.
You must be on your way. It's not wise to linger on these roads at night.
We'll be doing just that.
You will, sir. Thanks. Appreciated. Come on, come on. Up here. Have a good night. Yeah, where have you been?
We've been found out. Come on, clear out. You have a spy in your camp. I suppose I must. He is at the theater. The theater.
When I met him, I was tempted to tell him off.
Who?
The printer. I smudged the date.
How could you have known about the smudge date or who the printer was? Unless you...
I found the same obituary.
After I left?
No. Before.
You found out my mother died, and you didn't think that I should know that?
At first I did.
Uh-oh.
Even Fiona agreed. And
Fiona? You talked to Fiona about this? She's the one you consulted about this and not me? And then the two of you decided that I shouldn't know that my own mother was dead?
Brianna has a point.
That was my decision to make. I would never have done that to you, Roger. How dare you take that choice away from me?
I didn't want to break your heart.
No, you wanted me to be happy so I'd marry you.
Yes! Yes. Pardon me for wanting you to be my wife.
You make all of my decisions for me so I don't have to worry my pretty little head.
You're twisting my words.
She's not.
Maybe I should just go back.
Maybe you should. Turns out Lizzie and I do pretty well on our own.
Brianna, you're acting like a child.
Well, so are you.
Like as if that's what you really want. I will go.
No one's stopping you.
At least she has Lizzie. We haven't seen much of her, but she seems like a nice person.
Someone alerted them.
Obviously. Told both of you about it, as well as Fanning and Colonel Washington, but we're all in my company.
Washington wasn't.
Colonel Washington, Your Excellency. I saw him and his wife putting on their coats as I ran to fetch the surgeon.
Never trust a Virginian. Washington's day will come.
I may have lost 20 shillings, but I still have my soul.
You'll need a lot of luck to pull this one off, Bonnet.
Yes, I will.
That's her mother's ring.
Perhaps you'll change my luck.
It looks like one my mother had.
Does it now?
It's bad luck to wear the jewelry of the dead.
I can't say I've noticed that effect myself. Perhaps an agreement could be reached.
Do not know.
How much money do you want for it?
Well, perhaps you could earn it.
Forgot something, didn't you? I'm an honest man for a pirate.
I'm not sure why they keep bringing this topic up. It seems to happen almost every season. That is definitely a character who needs to go. Brianna and Roger just seem to clash so often as well, and it's mostly a lack of communication issue. I wish we heard more about Elizabeth's backstory. We got a few tiny glimpses of her in this episode and some references, but that's it. I hope that we get a little bit more detail soon. It was fun to get to see Washington show up. I was not expecting that.
History has its eyes on you.
I think I would have preferred it if it was someone a little bit less known, a historical figure that might have been in the area, but at the same time wasn't the first person you think of. Claire kept it together pretty well. I mean, when she figured out who he was, she was kind of internally going, but mostly kept it calm. I'm a little worried that they'll trace the tip-off through Fergus back to Jamie though. I think my favorite part of this particular episode was Claire stepping in as the surgeon in the middle of the theater and just being in her element like that. The rest of it, no. But that moment was just glorious.